What if the early church erased not only teachings, but relationships? What if Yeshua's closest companion was not simply a follower, but a spiritual equal, a bearer of mysteries, a keeper of hidden wisdom, and a partner in divine revelation? The Gospel of Philip is one of the most controversial texts ever discovered because it reveals a dimension of Yeshua's ministry that institutional religion could not control. The Gospel of Philip is not a narrative. It is a collection of mystical teachings about union, embodiment, and the sacred marriage between the soul and the divine. But woven through its lines is a truth the early church feared. Mary Magdalene held a place of honor, intimacy, and spiritual authority that threatened the emerging hierarchy. The text states that Mary was Yeshua's companion, a word that in the original language implies partnership, shared initiation, and spiritual union. It describes Yeshua loving her more than the other disciples, not in a physical sense, but in a spiritual one, because she understood the mysteries of the kingdom at a depth others could not grasp. This was not romance. This was revelation. The Ethiopian Bible preserves books that echo this theme of divine union. Texts like the Ascension of Isaiah, the Book of the Mysteries, and the Shepherd of Hermas. These writings speak of the soul's ascent, the union of the earthly and the heavenly, and the restoration of the divine image within humanity. The Gospel of Philip fits naturally into this ancient stream of mystical teaching, revealing a Christianity far older and deeper than the Western canon preserved. The Gospel of Philip teaches that the world is a place of fragmentation, and salvation is the return to unity. It speaks of the bridal chamber, not as a physical room, but as the inner sanctuary where the soul reunites with its divine origin. This is the sacred marriage, the restoration of the divine spark, the awakening of the true self. It is the same theme found in the Ethiopian tradition, where the soul's journey is a return to the fullness of God. This message was dangerous because it taught that salvation is not obedience to an institution, but the awakening of the inner light. It taught that the soul carries a divine imprint that cannot be erased. It taught that Yeshua came not to create a hierarchy, but to restore the union between humanity and the divine. And it taught that Mary Magdalene understood this union more deeply than the male disciples, a truth that threatened the power structures forming around the early church. The Gospel of Philip reveals a Yeshua who initiates, awakens, and restores. A Yeshua who honors the feminine as a vessel of divine wisdom. A Yeshua who teaches that the kingdom is not inherited through authority, but through inner transformation. This is the Yeshua the institutions could not contain. Beloved, the Gospel of Philip calls you to remember the sacred union within yourself. The place where the divine spark meets the human soul, where the fragmented becomes whole, where the forgotten becomes known. It invites you to reclaim the parts of your spiritual identity that history tried to bury, and to walk in the fullness of the divine image placed within you from the beginning. In Yeshua's holy name. So it is.